Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another round of Jen's Live. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. My name is still Adrian Abel Azevedo, and I am still the Education and Engagement Associate for Goodman Theater. Welcome into Jen's Live. We have a very, very exciting round of stories for you. As you've been watching, we have been doing stories based off of the play American Mariachi. That production was in the Albert Theater at the Goodman Theater, and our theme is stories of family traditions or the lack thereof. So super excited. We're going to keep on going with that theme. And this is an amazing round of students over from our Portage Park group that is led by the wonderful teaching artist, Laura Stemple. Let me do some computering on my end. Button and button. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Good morning. Happy
2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah, happy Tuesday.
So I don't have to start cooking anything until tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So today I just thank you. I want to say, I've said this in the Norwood Park group that I was working with this time too, that it's always astonishing to me that even with the same theme, you get like 20 different stories.
Oh, absolutely.
I always think you can do any story you want if you can fit it to the theme, whatever the theme is. But this really was a great theme to start with because people all had ideas. They had like multiple ideas about what traditions to talk about and what traditions never to mention to anyone.
Totally. My storytellers at home, I'm going to put us into gallery view. You can wave at your camera, give a little wave to the folks who are watching us today. Yay! And awesome, Laura. I will be quiet and let you take it away.
Excellent. Okay. Our first storyteller is Gloria Curlin, and her story is I've got a broken tradition. I'm sorry.
Gathering for Thanksgiving dinner was always our family tradition. Jack and I had celebrated our wedding in July, and soon it was November, time for Thanksgiving with my family. When we arrived at my parents' house at noon, we met my two brothers, my parents, grandparents, Mike and Martha. My husband, Jack, was unfamiliar with our family traditions and became concerned about the time needed to cook the turkey when he saw everyone visiting in the living room and no one in the kitchen. So when my dad walked into the kitchen, Jack approached him. Ed, I've worked as a cook the past 6 years and I love cooking. Would it be all right if I started cooking the turkey? I guess so, Dad agreed hesitantly. Go ahead. Jack said he knew that cooking a turkey at a low temperature would require more time. That was the real reason he stepped in and took over the cooking. He started on the turkey, rinsed it, then chopped up the stuffing ingredients and cooked them separately. Martha heard the chopping, came in, and saw that Jack was busy. He looked confused, left, and then came back angry. Once Jack went out into the living room and saw everyone glance up at him, it finally dawned on him that he had stepped on some very big toes and realized his mistake. Martha was the traditional family cook and felt offended by his actions. She stood off on the side, watching the way he cooked the meal. And while the food was served moist and delicious, Martha was steaming and upset. She made comments during the dinner. This dressing, not so good. And I don't mash potatoes, I whip them. Jack had broken the Thanksgiving tradition of having Martha cook the dinner. The repercussions of that day affected our relationship with Martha for many years. We lived in the same apartment building as my grandparents and would be met by Martha remarking on our comings and goings. Gloria, where did you park your car? And Jack, how much money do you make? Jack, always wanting to cook for others on the holidays, found his outlet in volunteering on Thanksgiving. He's cooked at the Salvation Army, the Little Brothers of the Poor, and the Christian Industrial League. At church, he cooked for the Holy Name and became famous for his delicious chili. At our Thanksgiving gatherings, I had to explain his absence. And who could argue with the fact that Jack was cooking for the poor? He went up against Martha and paid the price of being ostracized by her, but found his passion in cooking for others. Cooks can be sensitive people, wanting to please others with their creative efforts. Enjoy your Thanksgiving this year and compliment the cook. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. Great. Now we're all thinking about who to compliment. I will be complimenting myself. Thank you. Of course. Our
I
next,
lost the volume.
okay, that you have to fix that yourself, Grace, and please.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, mute,
On the side,
Mute yourself.
Grace, do it on the side of your phone.
Grace, you have to mute yourself so that we don't hear you talking, okay? Our next storyteller is Barbara Bonello, and as you just saw, Cindy Roeder, who will come later, is actually holding up a phone that has Barbara on it because Barbara's computer is not available. And so we figured out how to do it. If you can't quite see, just try harder. Okay, Barbara. This is Barbara Bonello, and her story is called Breaking and Rekindling Traditions.
When death occurs, in what direction will be delivered to family? A very strong family, weakening by strong wounds, conflicted. So much was unsaid to my family. Death could bring us closer or disarrange the family. Traditions broken up. Will I be able to keep my family together? My two brothers passing last fall in duration of 3 weeks apart. These are my brothers. Bernard with heart condition failure. Joseph was with lung disease, COVID. Just to be a heavy chore. I tried so many times reaching by phone calls, calling a few contacts, accepting changes by making new traditions. Last I heard was told that they have lives. It is what it is. I cannot force them. My home name is Podolsky. The night before Christmas, family meet for gift wrapping, tagging, ribbiting, being very jolly, joking with jokes, and have bubbly, and laying all the gifts under the tree. Family gathers at my brother's home, which we call it the big house on Christmas Eve yearly. Each member brings a dish, beverages, and snacks. Invitation of total of 30 guests. Bernard is in charge of turkey and ham. Yet our oven door pops open, smell of aroma, big brown turkey, sweet potato with marshmallows, a casserole dish, along many trimmings to share a big buffet spread. I am always in charge of prayers and the host, as my mom taught her family. My brother Joseph always follows Bernard. He was not much for traditions. We all assembled at the kitchen, a very tight fit. Each of us reaching for the host on the platter, breaking each of us, smiling, hugging. It's customary for the eldest to start first. My brother and I looking at each other with our eyes smiling and giggling. Barb, you start first. Bernard, wishing you a healthy year to a long life. May God protect you. I want you with me at all times. In exchange, my dear sister, Barb, follow your dreams and continue your education. The rest follows. Bernard and I sealed with a kiss, as always. Family breaks the host, and I lead to a short prayer. Joseph hands me his hand to wish me a Merry Christmas. He's not for hugging. When my brother Joseph worked at Fierro Candy Company, always receiving turkey champagne. whiskey and wine. Yearly, Joseph donates the gifts to the table. Time to fill our bellies and giving cheers to all. All bellies are full and all in harmony. Few hours passes. Family bellies are full. We all feel very merry. We never know how to expect Santa to arrive to the house. Bernard slips into the basement, dressing and stuffing a pillow to his stomach. He is very tall and thin. He slips out the outside door as all our grandchildren browsing at the gifts with excitement and waiting for Santa. 12 to 15 children, not one's left behind, trancing around the block. What is that noise? He walks ringing the bells. Ho, ho! Neighbors being curious. Ho, ho! It's our big Santa. Finally, he reaches home, slips through the dining room, ringing the bells. Ho, ho! As children sing Santa's coming to town. Finally, he reaches to the living room. He replies, who's been bad for the year? Tell me the truth. With loud voices, we all have been good. At once, my two nieces, Eileen and Amber. It's Papa bursting, giving them a nudge, giving out secrets. Each child sits on his lap as he presents the gifts, starting with the youngest first. One Christmas, he made me sit on his lap. Barb, you won't break me. Don't you want to sit on Santa's lap? Everyone laughed and giggled. What a big yell. All you could hear is children screaming out of excitement, papers flying up and down, sideways, creep. Look what I have got. Santa's leaving to North Pole. One Christmas, my brother received a Santa suit from his daughter, Stephanie. What has happened to the suit? Stephanie inherited. My brother's funeral, I wrote a passage, never to forget this memory, as he dressed as Santa. Bernard enters, where have you been? Just for fresh air. Now it's time for more bubbly and entertaining adults. Midnight, the guest departs. Before my brother Bernard depart, I and Kelly, his wife, mentioned to him, family will not stay together. With this comment, he got very hostile. My brother held his family tightly and strongly. The chain was broken. His grandchildren were very important to him. Due to his departure were two grandchildren and one more this June. My brother's dream was for his son to have a child. I was so surprised that John called me, giving me the news. Bernard has a total of 15 great-grandchildren, 16 grandchildren, total of 21. Bernard was a proud papa. Time of all birds, he shows up with a bunch of balloons and big stuffy. I cannot force them to stay together. I have other families to cherish, as Hernandez and Bonello. Hernandez traditions are held in Papa's house late hours, making hot tamales, sipping margaritas, and adding tequila and wine. Invitations over 50 guests, doing a white elephant exchange. We all sleep overnight and asking, where do we fit? Well, Papa has 3 apartments. Bonello's Christmas morning, we lounge in our PJs and sipping La Masa and opening presents. We have a smaller group for dinner. Time we break the host and doing a blessing, sharing stories and speeches and being jolly. We still abide our old traditions. How did our traditions change? Family being bitter and against each other. This was not a big surprise. I did confront it with my brother Bernard. It was his job to fix it. Accusations was untrue. Families should be together, not separate, loving each other. I have tried so many times to recoup. It was unreachable. Last I heard was that we have lives, and this was my last straw. 3 nieces in Vegas, here from one, nephew in Oregon, another in Wisconsin. Bernard has done the major issue. Do not speak to him. Stephanie needs still in contact. How can I change by reaching out, being patient, and keeping in touch, caring, and holding faith and hope, and moving forward and never looking back on issues, learning to forgive, even though traditions broken up, not meeting families, still keep prayers and hope. Those who isolate was their choice. My door is always open to all. My brother Bernard, family meant everything, including bonding. He would not appreciate his family failing him. That's it.
Thank you. I know this was a difficult story to do because you lost your 2 brothers so close together. So I'm glad that you were able to read it for us. Our next reader is putting down the phone now so that she can be on the screen. Cindy Roeder, and her story is Upside Down Cake Pan.
All right. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
All right, look at what I found at my grandma's house when we were cleaning out her place. Okay, for those of you that don't know what it is, it's a cake pan. And inside the cake pan, I found the recipe. All right, look at how they do recipes. This recipe insert is from 1932, and it was in the pan that I just showed you. And this pan was made at in Chicago, here at the Chicago Metallic Manufacturing Company. I decided that I would check out this recipe for my mom's birthday. When I was younger, I liked to throw dinner parties for my mom and her friends. As people around me get older, I keep hearing them say, it is more important to spend time together than to get gifts. My tradition was to make a special meal on your special day. I made gourmet dinner parties for my mom's birthday celebration at my house with a few of her friends. For this particular birthday, I made a spinach salad with tomato, red onion, hard-boiled eggs, mushrooms, and a dressing made from scratch. I followed this up with eggplant parmesan that I made and garlic bread with fresh garlic. For dessert, I decided that I would try using this recipe insert. Okay, the advertisement on the recipe said, it is for baking unusual and delicious cakes easily. This pineapple upside down cake was so very labor intensive. It involved steps I had never tried before. This would be the first time that I was not using a box mix that you just added eggs and oil before baking. As I read the recipe, I had to find a cookbook that would tell me what a moderate oven is, how to beat egg whites till stiff, and how to fold egg whites into the dry ingredients. Then you bake the cake for 45 minutes. Don't get me wrong, after making this cake with love, I realized it was way too much to bake a cake and make a special dinner all on the same day for my mom and her friends. To my amazement, I found out that a pineapple cake was so special to my mom. This is when my mom told me that when she was a young girl, she would look forward to going to the bakery for a pineapple-filled cake for her birthday. I don't remember celebrating with a pineapple-filled cake for any of her birthdays while growing up. She was really touched by being able to go down memory lane with something that was so special to her that I never knew about. I was glad that my mom was so moved by the homemade pineapple upside down cake that was shared with her close friends, which meant a lot to her for good memories. Something was going to have to change for my mom's next birthday. Instead of making a cake, a friend brought a strawberry-filled cake over for the party. Well, my mom kept saying it wasn't the pineapple cake that she was looking forward to. I felt guilty of not continuing with the tradition of a pineapple cake for the birthday celebration. Well, the next birthday came, and this time I made the cake a few days before the dinner party. This time I used a KitchenAid instead of a hand mixer to mix the egg whites till stiff. I offered to send the leftover cake home with my mom to enjoy, and she said no. She only wanted one piece on her birthday. This cake was still too time-consuming for me to make with so much going on in life. I've tried easier pineapple cake recipes over the years and continue serving a cake with pineapple every birthday. Even if I'm too busy to bake, I still find a way to serve a cake that has pineapple. Now, I go to a restaurant or carry out for the birthday meal, but still continue serving a pineapple cake because a cake slice with pineapple means the world to my mom. The end.
Yay.
Thank you. Good job. Now I want cake.
Yeah, if we were meeting in person, I might make it one
You would have
day.
had cake, right? Okay, our next reader is Grace Riora, sorry, and her story is called Halloween with My Son.
Excuse me. Celebrating Halloween with my son Michael as he was growing up became a special holiday with us. I have no fond memories of Halloween when I was growing up, but having a son changed all that. Even every Halloween, I used my own creativity from whatever I could find to make my son's costume. My approach worked. Halloween parties gave him prizes for first or second place, usually affirming that they liked his costume. This was acknowledgement from others as to my creativity and ingenuity. I remember his first Halloween. Michael owned a Mickey Mouse sweatpants and top outfit, so that made it easy. All I had to do was paint a black nose and whiskers, and he was good to go. The weather must not have been conducive for the outdoors because we trick-or-treated at the indoor Century Shopping Mall on Clark and Diversey. The second Halloween, I dressed up Michael in a long pink satin skirt trimmed with white lace that went down to his shoes. I added a mint-colored top with a long chiffon scarf draped around his neck. A straw sun hat was placed on his head. I colored his cheeks and mouth with red lipstick. I had no particular character in mind. My creativity was not in a box. I made costumes from whatever I already had in the house. At times, the character was whatever he was interested in at the time. If I didn't have everything I needed in the house, I would run to the thrift store. I never had to spend a ton of money. I embellished from what I already had most of the time. That outfit won him first prize at Adam's Play Lot in Lincoln Park. I have some pictures here.
Oh, wow.
And he's holding his, wait a minute. Should I do it? He's holding
Hold it still.
his, okay, he's holding his trophy here. And here's another picture. Where is he? Right there. Okay, so the third Halloween, Michael won the grand prize at Holstein Park in Bucktown, where we lived. He beat out all the older kids as well. The summer preceding Halloween, I bought a small child's black cape at a yard sale. I added black pants, white shirt, and painted a Dracula face. When he was being judged on stage, I stood with the audience demonstrating with my face and arms how he should play act Count Dracula, which he did superbly well, winning him the grand prize of a birthday party at our neighboring McDonald's, all expenses paid. I don't think he won on the costume as much as it was his acting and miming what he should do on stage. Because I had a knack for creating costumes from whatever I already owned, I never bought the chintzy costumes at Woolworth that were so cheaply made. For example, Michael owned a beautiful red and black velvet jester hat. He insisted I buy it for him at the Bucktown Arts and Crafts Fair. At the thrift store, I hunted for a piece of clothing that was geometrically black and red. I found the perfect woman's dress that was half black and half red. It had long sleeves. I carefully cut half triangles at the bottom of the dress and sleeves and added little bells, creating a costume reflecting how we usually think of jesters wearing. I added black leotards and elf shoes. The finishing touches were jester-style red and black diamonds on his face. When Michael was 6 years old, he was into medieval knights in shining armor. He would draw castles and knights with swords, fighting in battle. For his birthday in September, he received a gray plastic knight set with a breastplate, helmet, and sword. Back to the thrift store to find charcoal gray pants and top. I used aluminum foil to cover up the breastplate, adding a gold cross. As far as the sword, he had too many to choose from. He could never get enough of them. One year, he was the cutest little cowboy. He already owned a holster with guns and a cowboy hat. At the thrift store, I found a green and black checkerboard flannel shirt and a little brown suede vest. I borrowed the cowboy boots. He was 5 years old then. Now, I celebrate Halloween with Michael and his family. I have 3 grandchildren, 2 boys and 1 girl. I always show up uninvited, sort of like self-imposing myself to make sure I join them for trick-or-treating. Our new family tradition is to head out to the Saguenay area. I follow them with my car. The area has so many beautiful homes. There's this one house that always gives out full-size chocolate Hershey bars. The residents at Saguenay go all out to decorate their lawns and homes for the holiday. It never fails. Sooner or later, I have to pee, and I end up asking a homeowner if I could please use their washroom. It's a little embarrassing for my family as I point to them to prove that I am not some weirdo on my own. At Thanksgiving, Christmas, my birthday, and Mother's Day, I have to share the holiday with my daughter-in-law's family. But at Halloween, I get them all to myself.
Ew. Nice job. I
Thank
want all
you.
those costumes also. Okay, our next storyteller is Nedra Klosterman, and her story is called My Christmas Tradition.
I was born on Christmas Day to Iraqi Muslim parents in a Catholic hospital. My mother told me years later that there were people singing Christmas carols in the hallway, and they gave her a nativity set to take home. My mom had only been in America for a few years, and she thought, how nice, all the things they give you when a baby is born. Little did she know it was for Christmas. I was not aware of how big the holiday was until I reached grade school. Could not have a party on my birthday as everybody was celebrating with their families. As a child, Christmas represented toys, Santa Claus, a neat looking tree that you could decorate, pretty lights, and singing carols. My parents explained to me that we did not celebrate Christmas. It was a religious Christian holiday, and we were Muslim. I felt left out of the fun celebration. There were other ways I had already felt left out and did not realize it until later. I was different than most around me. I had a different name, and my parents were from a country that no one had heard of. Most people around were white or black and had names like John and Susan. There were no Arab families. I felt not celebrating Christmas made me stick out even more. I did not know any friends that did not celebrate. My parents tried to make up for not celebrating Christmas in different ways. Since it was my birthday, I was celebrated. My parents would make a turkey, but also traditional Arab foods. We had hummus, pita bread, kebab, and bulgur with lamb. There would be cake, and my family would sing happy birthday to me, and I would open my presents. My family made me feel very special and happy. We also celebrated other Muslim holidays, but it did not compare to Christmas. As a teenager, I found that people would give each other Christmas gifts, and I felt I should too. I remember friends giving me a birthday gift wrapped in Christmas wrapping paper and then say to me, "Happy birthday and Merry Christmas." I felt thankful for the gift, but cheated as I gave them a gift for Christmas and on their birthday. While in college, I started working for the family business, a small medical laboratory. They had a Christmas party every year and gave employees gifts. At first, I was surprised. Why is my family acknowledging this religious holiday at work? This is when I realized there was an aspect to the holiday that was not religious. This is when you as a business gave your even if wait, sorry. This is what you did as a business, even if you did not celebrate Christmas at home. This is when you show appreciation for customers and employees. I married my husband, Joe, in my mid-20s. Joe is from an Irish German Catholic family, and they celebrated Christmas. We went to his family's home for Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day was reserved for my birthday, and we went to my parents' house and continued the tradition. Joe and I had our son in 1994. We celebrated Christmas in a non-religious manner for him. We got a tree, and Joe made a crescent moon and star to put on top of the tree to incorporate my culture. We decorated the front of the house and talked about Santa Claus and gave presents. I did not want my son to feel left out as I had. We still went to my parents on my birthday. I feel there's two Christmases. One is a national holiday that most people get off, the day off. It is non-religious. It is a time to acknowledge people you value. The mailman, hairdresser, teachers, customers, employees, and friends. People are kinder to each other. It is a time to appreciate each other. Hollywood movies tell stories of how people should be valued. Scrooge and It's a Wonderful Life are some examples. That part of Christmas is nice. The part of Christmas I don't care for is when stores start playing holiday music and selling items in September. The push is to buy many presents and spend lots of money. The sales on Black Friday and watching people trample over each other to fight for items is disturbing to me. I see people getting stressed and depressed during the holidays. There is a feeling that you're supposed to feel happy. You're supposed to give presents and get a tree. There are many people who are alone, and there are many people who don't celebrate, such as Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists. I prefer to say happy holidays as that is inclusive to everyone. There was a time everything was closed on Christmas Eve and day. Now there are more places open for those who are not celebrating. The show Seinfeld got it right for the episode celebrating Festivus for the rest of us. It's a joke, but it points out that there's many of us who don't celebrate Christmas. I respect those who celebrate the religious part of Christmas and the traditions they put forth with their families. I can see it as a value to them, and I wish that people realize that everyone does not celebrate Christmas, and that's okay. The tradition of celebrating my birthday continues with my family, and as my son puts it, it's your day, Mom.
Thank you. Very nice. Also, I want all the food in this. I don't know what the deal is with me today. Our last storyteller is Judy Alameen, and her story is called Safe Space for Nerdy Kids.
Safe space for nerdy kids. My preteen daughter and my two younger sons were not happy about our move to St. Louis. As a single parent, the move was a means to improve our living conditions and my career. I promised them that we wouldn't move again until after all of them graduated from high school. St. Louis was the first place we lived without family nearby. In fact, I knew no one there. It was important that my children be safe and yet develop friendships. If our house was where the neighborhood children hung out, then I would know what was going on with mine. I wanted to create a space free of drugs and alcohol for nerdy kids who could play video games, watch sci-fi movies, and see a movie version of Othello. This family tradition started with early Friday and Saturday evening events, then to spontaneous sleepovers every Friday and Saturday night. The big event each year was their own New Year's Eve party. What prepared me for my pursuit of a safe space for nerdy kids? Well, I volunteered to work with children, teenagers, and young adults from my teens through my early 40s. Those experiences helped me to create this safe space. However, such a space brought the bitter with the sweet. One day, my daughter, Libya, met me at the front door with, "Karen is taking some pills. Can you talk to her?" Karen, Libya's high school friend, explained, "My mother is a drug addict and beats me. She won't let me go to school until the bruises heal. She hits my stepfather too. There is no one to protect me." While listening to the nightmare of her life, it became apparent why she might see suicide as a solution to her pain. Perhaps, I was the first adult with whom she shared her story. A call to her parents might put Karen in more danger. Well, the next time her mother beat her, Karen went to school anyway and told her teacher, who was a mandatory reporter. This started a change of events that led to Karen living with her maternal grandmother to finish high school. Karen's next steps were joining the military and developing a medical career. She found safety. One New Year's Eve, when my children were home from college, they continued our tradition, and I learned some lessons. I was getting my hair cut at a barbershop when I met Cynthia. She was a student at Spelman College, a historically Black college for women in Atlanta. As an alum of Spelman, I was impressed and proud of Cynthia. The next week was my children's annual drug-free New Year's Eve party. I invited Cynthia to their celebration and may have mentioned that I had a son around her age. At home, I told my sons that I met a Spelman student and I thought my youngest son, Malik, might find her attractive. Immediately, my older son, Peru, was enraged and said, "Why Malik?" I had no answer. On New Year's Eve, Cynthia arrived and played games, danced, and watched sci-fi movies with my children and other young people. Each of my children prepared a dish for the party and sparkling juice was served. However, neither of my sons was attracted to Cynthia. The next day, her mother called and said, "My daughter had so much fun at your house. Can her younger brother come with her next year?" In contrast, Peru invited two young women who worked with him at Wendy's over his holiday break. They were bored to tears. The Nerdy Kids New Year's Eve party isn't for all young adults. However, a safe space on that special day is essential for those nerdy kids who are now adults. This family tradition continues. P.S. My big takeaway was never to arrange dates for my children.
Thank you. Nice job. Thank you all. This was great. It's always fun to hear everybody's stories, and especially when they're about something like this that we all kind of recognize.
Well, another round of applause for our Portage Park group. That's Barbara,
Yes.
Najwa, Gloria, Grace, Cindy, Judy. Great job, everybody. Folks at home, thank you for being here with us. We are wrapping up our stories already. Can you believe that? The family traditions, they come and they go. But we do have one more round of stories. It is Willa Taylor's group at the DuSable Museum. It is at 1 o'clock. I'll see you there. If you have this link, then you've got the 1 p.m. link. I'll see you in a little bit, everybody. Take care. My name is still
Happy
Adrian.
holiday.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Happy holiday.
Thank you.